Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Easy English Room podcast. We're really happy that you're here with us today. If you're listening right now, it means something special. It means you are ready to improve your English in a simple, relaxed, and enjoyable way.
Hi, everyone. I'm Emma, and I'm so excited to be here with you again. Whether this is your first time listening or you've been with us for a while, we truly appreciate your time.
And I'm Henry. So, Emma, let me ask you, and also ask our listeners, a simple but meaningful question. When was the last time you sat down with your family? No phones, no notifications, no distractions at all. Just sitting together, talking, laughing, and really being present.
Wow, Henry, that question really makes me think. Honestly, it has been quite a long time. Life today, especially in 2026, feels so fast. We're always busy with work, responsibilities, and endless tasks. And now that I think about it, I actually miss those moments a lot. Those simple times when we would just sit together, laugh about small things, and truly connect.
Exactly. It's those small, quiet moments that remind us why family matters so much. We often get lost in our busy routines, but family is always there, waiting for us to come back and reconnect. And that's exactly what today's episode is about, the importance of family, and why it's so valuable to spend time with the people who truly matter in our lives.
Yes, absolutely. But before we go deeper into today's topic, we have something helpful for you. We've prepared a PDF for this episode. It includes key vocabulary, useful phrases, and examples from today's conversation. You can download it easily using the link in the description.
That's right. Make sure you grab it so you can follow along and learn even more effectively. And today, we also have someone special joining us, our vocabulary expert, Charlotte. She will help explain some important words and expressions at the end of the episode.
Hi, Charlotte. Welcome.
Thanks, Henry. That was such a warm and meaningful discussion. Now let's take a closer look at some of the key phrases you heard today and help you use them in your own English conversations.
All right, Emma. Let's continue. Let me ask you something deeper. How do you think the way our family treats us when we are young affects the way we build relationships later in life?
That's such an important question. I truly believe that our family plays a huge role in shaping who we become. For example, when I was a child, my parents were always supportive. Every school event, every performance, every small achievement, they were there. They would smile, encourage me, and celebrate even the smallest things. And that kind of support teaches you something powerful. It teaches you how to treat others with kindness and how to build strong relationships.
I completely understand that. I had a very similar experience. My dad, no matter how busy he was, always came to my soccer games. Even when he was tired or had a long day at work, he showed up. And that taught me something important. It taught me that being there for people really matters. When someone shows up for you, you learn to do the same for others.
Exactly. That's what family does. They create the foundation for all our relationships, whether it's friendships, work relationships, or romantic relationships. Everything starts from what we learned at home, how we trust, how we care, and how we communicate. It all begins there.
Yes, and family is not only there for happy moments, they're also there when things get difficult. I remember one time
Thank you,
I was
Charlotte.
going through a tough situation at work. I felt confused, stressed, and honestly a bit lost. And then
Unexpectedly, my sister came to visit me. She brought pizza, sat next to me, and we just talked. She didn't try to fix everything, she just stayed and listened, and that meant everything to me.
That's such a beautiful moment. Sometimes we don't need solutions. We don't need advice. We just need someone to be there, to listen, and to understand. I had a similar experience too. When I was struggling with an important career decision, I felt a lot of pressure, and my brother called me. He didn't give instructions, he didn't tell me what to do, he just listened, carefully, patiently, and somehow that was enough. It gave me comfort and clarity.
That's the power of family. They support us even without saying much, and they also encourage us when we feel like giving up. My dad always says something that stays with me. If you don't believe in yourself, just remember, I believe in you. And every time I hear that, it gives me strength. It pushes me forward, even when I feel unsure.
That's really powerful. I think everyone needs someone like that. And most of the time, that person is family. They see us at our worst moments, but still believe in our best version. That's why family is such a strong source of love, support, and encouragement.
Yes, and beyond support, family gives us something even deeper, a sense of belonging. No matter where you go, no matter how far you travel or how long you stay away, there is always a place where you belong, a place where people know you, understand you, and accept you.
Exactly. And not feeling is something truly special. It reminds us that we are never alone. So maybe, after listening to this episode, you can take a small step. Call your family, visit them, or simply spend time together without distractions. Because those moments, they may seem small, but they are actually the most meaningful ones.
Beautifully said, Emma. And now let's bring Charlotte back to help us review some useful vocabulary from today's episode.
Thank you, Henry. Hi again, everyone. Let's take a calm and clear look at some important words from today's episode. These words will help you express yourself better in English. Let's begin. Presence. This means being fully there, physically and emotionally with someone. For example, when you are with your family and you put your phone away, you are truly present, and that helps build stronger relationships. Reconnect. This means to rebuild a connection after being busy or apart for some time. For example, after a long period of work, you reconnect with your family during a weekend dinner. Support. This means to help someone or encourage them, especially during difficult moments. For example, when life feels hard, your family is there to support you. Foundation. This refers to the base or starting point of something important. For example, family creates the foundation for how we build relationships in the future. Belonging. This is the feeling of being accepted and connected to a group or to people. For example, no matter where you go, your family gives you a sense of belonging. Values. These are the principles and beliefs that guide how we behave. For example, we learn values like kindness, respect, and empathy from our families. Mental health. This refers to your emotional and psychological well-being. For example, spending time with family can improve your mental health and make you feel better. Empathy. This means understanding and sharing the feelings of others. For example, when your family listens to you and understands your emotions, that is empathy. Influence. This is the ability to affect someone's behavior or way of thinking. For example, your grandparents may have a strong influence on your personality and your decisions. And that brings us to the end of our vocabulary section.
That feeling of having a place to return to, it's something very special. It's like saying to yourself, This is where I belong. This is where people accept me, just as I am. No conditions, no pretending, just being yourself.
Yes, I really love that idea. It reminds me of when I moved out for the first time. At the beginning, it felt exciting. Everything was new. Living alone, having my own space, making my own decisions, it felt like freedom. But after a few months, something started to change. I began to miss home. And it wasn't just about the house or the physical place, it was something deeper. It was the feeling of being surrounded by people who truly know me and love me for who I am.
That's such an important point, because what you're describing is exactly what family gives us, a sense of belonging. And that feeling stays with us throughout our lives.
Exactly. And this sense of belonging doesn't just stay inside the family, it actually affects how we connect with other people, whether it's with friends, people we work with, or even the family we might build in the future. Everything starts with those early connections at home.
That's very true. I feel like when you grow up in a close and supportive family, you naturally learn important values like trust, respect, and how to care about others. And the interesting thing is, you don't even realize you're learning these lessons. They just become part of who you are.
Yes, exactly. And later in life, you carry those lessons into all your relationships. It becomes easier to understand others, to communicate clearly, and to handle emotions better. That's why people who grow up in strong family environments often have healthier relationships because they've already learned how to support others and how to deal with challenges.
Right. It's almost like family is our first school, but instead of learning subjects like math or science, we learn life skills. We learn how to listen, how to be patient, and how to show empathy. And these skills are extremely valuable in everyday life.
Absolutely. And that's why family is not only important for individuals, but also for society as a whole. When families are strong and supportive, they create a positive effect that spreads outward, like a ripple in water. One good relationship leads to another and another.
That's such a powerful image. Because it's true. Family teaches us how to love, how to support, and how to be kind. And when we take those qualities into the outside world, we make our communities better.
You know, Henry, there's something else that really surprises me sometimes. It's how much family affects our mental health. Even just one day spent with my family can completely change my mood. It feels like pressing a reset button, like my energy comes back and my mind feels clearer.
Oh, yes, I totally agree with that. It's almost like free therapy. A few months ago, I was really stressed because of work. I hadn't seen my family for several weeks. And then one weekend, we had a family barbecue. Nothing fancy, just simple food and time together. We talked, we laughed, we shared stories. And honestly, all my stress just disappeared.
That's amazing. And it shows how powerful family time can be. You can go from feeling completely exhausted to feeling refreshed and motivated again.
Exactly. And it's not just about adults. Spending time with family also helps children in many ways. For example, I read that kids who spend quality time with their families often do better in school.
That's so true. I've seen that myself. My niece used to struggle with math. She found it difficult and sometimes frustrating, but then she started spending more time with my sister. They would sit together, go over her homework step by step, and slowly her confidence grew. Her grades improved, and she started enjoying learning more. Sometimes all it takes is a little support.
That's a great example. Family really does play a big role in our success. I remember when I was younger, my mom would sit next to me while I did my homework. She didn't always help directly, but just knowing she was there made me focus more. It made me feel supported. And looking back, that made a big difference.
Yes, and beyond school, family also teaches us important life values. For example, my dad always talked about hard work and kindness. He used to say, if you want something, you have to work for it. But at the same time, never forget to help others. And honestly, that lesson stayed with me.
That's really meaningful. For me, my grandmother had a big influence. She taught me patience. I remember we used to bake together, and I was always in a hurry. I wanted everything to be done quickly, but she would smile and tell me to slow down, to enjoy the process. And now I realize how important that lesson is.
It's interesting how those small moments stay with us for years. My grandfather used to say, the most valuable things in life are not things. And that always stayed in my mind because it's true. What really matters are values like kindness, respect, and empathy.
Exactly. And family is where we learn those values first. And when people grow up in loving and supportive environments, they are more likely to share that same kindness with others.
Yes, it becomes like a chain reaction. Strong families create strong communities, and strong communities create a better society.
And that's why it's so important to appreciate our families, even if things are not perfect. Because let's be honest, no family is perfect.
Exactly. Every family has challenges, but what matters is being there for each other through good times and difficult moments.
Yes, and in the end, it's the small things, the shared laughter, the memories, the simple conversations that create strong bonds.
And those bonds are what give us that beautiful feeling of belonging that we talked about at the beginning.
And when we really think about it, at the end of the day, this is what truly matters. Family. It's the source of love, of comfort, and of strength. It gives us the support we need to face life's challenges, even the difficult ones.
Yes, absolutely. Family doesn't just support us, they also teach us. They guide us, shape our personalities, and help us grow into better, stronger, and kinder people. Step by step, they help us become the best version of ourselves.
Exactly. And that's why we want to say something important to all our listeners today. Take a moment and think about your family.
Maybe it's calling your parents, or sending a message to your brother or sister, or even something simple like sitting together and sharing a meal. These moments may seem small, but they are actually very meaningful.
Yes. So remember to truly appreciate those moments because family is one of the most important parts of our lives.
And try to cherish the time you spend together. Life moves quickly, especially in today's world, in 2026, where everything feels fast and sometimes overwhelming. But family time is something we should never ignore.
Exactly. And if you haven't spoken to someone in your family for a while, maybe today is the perfect day to change that.
Yes, here's a small challenge for you. Simple but meaningful. Reach out. Call someone in your family or visit them. Tell them you love them and just enjoy being together. No distractions, just real connection.
We truly hope that this conversation today has reminded you how special family is and how important it is to protect and value those relationships.
We hope you enjoyed this conversation and learned something new about family and about English.
Remember, family is a big part of who we are. So take care of those relationships, stay connected, and keep building those strong bonds.
And feel free to share your own family stories with us. We'd love to hear about your experiences. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today.
Until next time, keep practicing your English, and don't forget to appreciate the people you love.
Goodbye, everyone. Take care and see you soon.
And remember, your learning journey doesn't stop here. You can continue by watching the next episode or exploring more videos that we've prepared just for you.